Good Chodesh, everyone. Today we're learning Mציעא Daf Lamed Vav. So we're going to start from Lamed Hayomi base, the last line in the page, and we're just going to repeat a second. So the Mishnah said such a following case: Reuven owns a cow, and he rented it out to Shimon, and Shimon lent it to Levi, and now it died by Levi. So Levi is chayav b'ointzim because he's a shoyel, so he has to pay Shimon. And Shimon, who's a soicha, is potter b'ointzim, he patters himself from Reuven with a shvur, and he walks away with the cow. And Rabbi Yossi argues on that. That was the case in the Mishnah. Says Omar Rav Yirmiyah, Pa'amim, sometimes sheshneim bechatos. The soicha and the shoyel have to bring a korban chatos for false shvur. And Pa'amim sheshneim ba'osham, sometimes both have to bring a korban osham for false shvur. We're going to see in a second when is the chatos and when is the osham. Pa'amim she'asoicha bechatos v'asher be'osham, sometimes the soicha has to bring a chatos and the shor be'osham. And then Pa'amim she'asoicha be'osham v'asher bechatos, and sometimes it's the opposite. All four cases are possible, says Rav Yirmiyah. How is this possible? Explains Rav Yirmiyah. So first we say introduction. First, Mamoin, if you made a shvur, false shvur, and by that you koy for Mammon, you gained money by that, you have to bring a osham. Bitus for saying, if you made a shvur, they didn't gain, that's a lie, but you didn't gain any money out of it, you have to bring a chatos. Meaning if today is Tuesday, and I make a shvur today is Friday, and I'm chayav a chatos. If someone comes to me and tells me, you owe me money, and I tell him a shvur, I don't owe you money, and really I do owe you money, and I have to bring a osham. So now we're going to explain all the four cases. Pa'amim sheshneim chatos, what's the case? The animal died, kedarko, normal death, and they said the oines happened, the tsunami came, really died just naturally. So soicha, the benka chubenka mifta potter, doesn't matter if it's mesa kedarko or oines, he's anyway potter, he doesn't gain anything by his lie. Bechatos, he brings a korban chatos. Shoyel, the benka chubenka chiyuv mechayev, doesn't matter if it's mesa kedarko, doesn't matter if it's oines, he's anyway chayev, he didn't gain anything. Bechatos, he also has to bring a chatos. Pa'amim sheshneim ba'osham, what's the case? Really what happened was this animal got stolen from Levi the shoyel. And they said it died while Levi was working with the animal because of the work. They both were gaining moment by the shvur. They both chayav for gneva. The kopatron of shayu. And they patted themselves by saying it was meisa machmas melocha. That's why they both have to bring a korban osham. Case number 3, soicha bechatos, they didn't gain anything. V'shoyel ba'osham, they did gain. It's talking about going shemesa kedarka. It died naturally. And they said it died because of the work. Soicha, the benka chubenka mifta potter, there's no difference between mesa kedarka or mesa machmas melochas. He didn't gain by changing the truth. Chayav bechatos. Shoyel, the Mechai b'meisa kedarko, v'pota nafshei b'meisa machmas melocha, and he made a shvur that was meisa machmas melocha, and he gained himself to pata himself. He has to bring ba'osham. Case number 4 and the last case. Soicha ba'osham v'shor b'chatos. What's the case? Kigoin shenignev got stolen. V'amru meisa kedarko, and they said it died the natural way. Soicha, who the Mechai b'gneva aveda, that for gneva aveda for what really happened, he's chayev v'kopot anavshei b'meisa kedarko, and he changed the truth and he gained. He has to bring ba'osham. Shoel the benka chubenka chiyuv v'mechayev, doesn't make a difference. Nigneva doesn't matter. Meisa machmas melocha is chayev, so that he changed, he didn't gain any money from it. Bechatos. Okay, so now we understand how it's possible all four cases. Says the Gemara, Mai komash malon. What's the chiddush of our area? And Rashi explained that it's clear Mishnayos in Shavuos. that tells you if you're gaining, you bring a osham. If you don't gain, you bring a chatos. So what Rabbi Ermi are trying to say over here that you have all these 4 cases? What's the point? Says the Gemara, he wants to tell you that he does not like Rav Ami. The Omar, Rav Ami says, Kol shvua shadayoni mashvimo. So if a person makes a shvua because Bezdin tells him to make a shvua, ein chayovim oleh mishum shvuas bitui, and he made a false shvua, and he didn't gain any money from this false shvua, you don't have to bring a korban chatos. Why? Shenemar nefesh ki tishova levata b'svasayin. It says in the pasuk, "Oy nefesh ki tishova levata b'svasayin leora leitiv lechol hashevata odom shvua v'nelam v'hu yodav osher nachas meile." Then he has to bring a korban. And he darshans ki tishova matzma, only if he makes a shvua from himself, he decides to make a shvua, but if he's put upon him to make a shvua from Bezdin, in such a case, he's not chayav a korban. But since our Imriya says that these 4 cases, and some of the cases when Bezdin makes him make a shvua, and afilu ochi chayav shvuas bitus vasayim, kamash malon deloy Rabami. That's the chiddush of our Imriya to tell you not like Rabami. Tzedek Mor itma shoyma shemosa leshoyma. Reuven owned something and he gave Shimon to keep after it, and Shimon gave it to Levi to keep after it. Rav Omar Potter. Rav says he's Potter. If he's a Shomer Chinom, the first Shomer, so he has all din in Shomer Chinom. What happened to the second Shomer? Rabbi Yochanan Omar Chayev. Rabbi Yochanan says he's Chayev, meaning if let's say a Shomer Chinom was Shimon and now he gave it even to a Shomer Socha, he'll be Chayev even for Einzim. Or he's a Shomer Chinom. No, now he's did a pshir and is giving it over. We're going to see soon why. Omar Abai. The Tamid Rav in the shitter of Rav Loy that he said Shomer Shemosa l'Shomer Potter Loy mi boy Shomer Chinom Shemosa l'Shomer Socha. Not only a Shomer Chinom who gave over to a Shomer Socha, the Luye Ale l'Shmirosa that Lichorim made the better Shmira because now Levi the second Shomer's Chayiv also for Gneva Aveda. Elo afilu even more so Shomer Shemosa l'Shomer Socha if Shimon was a Shomer Socha. Shemosa l'Shomer Chinom and he gave it to Levi who's a Shomer Chinom. The Guri Garlish Murasel, the Levi won't keep after the Chayvit as good because he's Potter for Gneva Aveda. Afilu Hachi is Potter. My time of Domosro Ben Das, he gave over the item to someone who's a Ben Das and therefore he's Potter. Uletame the Rabbi Yochanan in time of Rabbi Yochanan, Loimi boy Shomer Socha, Shemosa l'Shomer Chinom. The Guri Garlish Murasel, not only if Shimon gave over who was a Shomer Socha, who gave over to Levi to Shomer Chinom, that he made the worst Shmir now. They chayev elo afilu Shomer Chinom if Shimon was a Shomer Chinom. Shemosa l'Shomer Socha. They gave it to Levi who's a Shomer Socha. Hilu yali l'Shmirosa that he made the lechera better Shmira because now Levi is going to be chayev gneva v'aveda. Afilu ochis chayev. Why is that? The Omalei ein ritzoni she'epik doini biyadacher. Reuven says to Shimon, very good, he gave it to Levi who was keeping it better. I don't know Levi. I don't want this item to be by Levi. I trusted you. I didn't trust Levi. And we're going to see on Amud Beis that this is in Rabbi Yochanan the Svara Lefi Abaye. Rava says a different Svara in Rabbi Yochanan. But Rabbi Yochanan says Shomer Shemosa l'Shomer Chayev. And Abaye explains because Ein Ritzoini she'epik doini biyad acher. Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Chizda, Hod Rav Lav Beferishitma. The din of Rav who says Shomer Shemosa l'Shomer is Potter is, he never said that clearly, Shomer Shemosa l'Shomer Potter. Elo, Michlolo Danu Ginoi. We learned it from the story with these gardeners. What happened? Every day, they deposit their spades, their garden tools, by this old woman. One day, we gave, instead of giving it to the old lady, we gave it to one of the gardeners to keep. He heard a noise in the bar and he wanted to go be part of the party. So he had these spades to keep. So he went to the old lady who they normally give it to her and he told her, can you keep it for us? And he gave it to her. Until he went out and came back. He got stolen. He came in front of Rav and he patted him. He said it's okay that he gave it all to the old lady. So man, the Talmud who saw this story, he thought, you know what's pshat? Mishum Shomer Shemosa l'Shomer Potter, because this gardener gave over to the old lady the Shomer Shemosa l'Shomer, and Rav holds, we could see from here, Shomer Shemosa l'Shomer Potter. Says the Gemara Velohi, and it's not true. Shiny Hossam over there, it's different. The whole Yoima Gab Nami Inu Gufayu Gaba Dais after Avamafkidulu. That lady, they can't say Ein Ritzoni Shebek Doni Biadacher or the town that we're going to see later, because they themselves trust that old lady. Every day they give it to that old lady. For some reason, they never gave it to her that day. But they can't say we don't trust that old lady. And therefore, he's potter in this case. But in a normal case, where Reuben gave it to Shimon and he never gives it to Levi, and Shimon goes and gives it to Levi, Reuben has a time on Shimon. Why did he give it to Levi? And therefore, it comes out that really Rab doesn't really argue on Rabbi Yochanan. It was only a mistake of someone who saw a story. Said the Gemara, Yossi Rav Ami was sitting, he was saying the sugya of Shoima Shemasa l'Shoima. Esive Rav Abba bar Mamal Rav Ami. Rav Abba bar Mamal asked the kasha Rav Ami from our Mishnah in a mafkid. Asoicha pro mechaveroi Shimon rented the cow from Reuven. Veishilo lacher, and he lent it out to Levi. Umeisa kedarka, and it died naturally by Levi. Shova asoicha, Shimon makes a shvua to Reuven. Shemeisa kedarka, and he patted himself. Vashoyel, who has to pay for ointzi, mishalem lasoicha, has to pay Shimon for this cow. V'nisa, if it's true that Shoyma Shemasa l'Shoyma is chayev, leimelei, Reuven should tell Shimon the soicha, ein ritzoini, I don't want sheyepik doini, that this item I rented out to you, biadacher biad Levi. How are you giving out to Levi, and therefore you should be chayev, afilu be'ointzim, b'fir Rabbi Yochanan. Amalei, oche b'mayaskinan b'shenosnu loi la'asher. It's talking about Reuven told Shimon, you could lend it out to Levi. Says the Gemara, if so, if it was b'shlichus of Reuven, the owner, lebailim boy l'shlumi, so Levi is really borrowing it from Reuven. So when now it died, Levi should pay Reuven, not to Shimon. Says the Gemara, the omulei ledatcho, that Reuven didn't tell Shimon, go, you could lend it out to Levi specifically. He said, you could lend it out to whoever you want, your responsibility. And then Shimon went and lent it out to Levi. So therefore, Levi has nothing to do with Reuven, and therefore, when it died by Levi has to pay Shimon. Now, this kasha of Rav Abba bar Mamal Rav Ami, we should remember this kasha for Amud Beis. It's going to come back in again. We're going to see. Mosiv Romi bar Choma. Romi bar Choma has a kasha. Mafkid mois etzel chaveroi. If Reuven gave Shimon money to keep, and he put them in a bandage, in a bag or something, and he put them behind him. And money you normally put behind you, it's not very safe. Or he gave it to his young kids, and he locked the door, he didn't lock the door properly, and it got lost. Why? Because he was a Pesha in his shmirah. Said the Gemara Duke, Rom Machom is Medayek. The whole reason why it's not good, because he gave it to Noibi to Aktanim, Hog Doilim, or if he gave it to his big kids, Potter, he'll be Potter. Amai, Lefir Rabbi Yochanan, Eimelei Lecher, we should tell him, Ein Ritzoini Sheyepik Doini Biad Acher. Even if it's Gdoilim, it should be a problem, because Ein Ritzoini Sheyepik Doini Biad Acher, and therefore you should be Chayev even if it's Gdoilim. Why does it say Dafka Ktanim? Elo Mayu Kitzi Shoyim Shemosa L'Shoyim Potter. And Dafka Bektanim, because you're Posher. Omaroveno, Kol HaMafkid, so the Gemara no Amud Beis, Al Das Ishtoi Ubonov Hu Mafkid. Anyone who deposits something to someone, he knows that that person very likely is going to give it to keep to his wife or his kids, and therefore it's no problem of Shoyim Shemos Al Shimon. When is the Shoyim Shemos Al Shimon? When Reuven gave it to Shimon and Shimon randomly gave it to Levi, but when he give it to Shimon and Shimon gives it to his wife or kids to keep, it's obvious that he might do that, and that's no problem. Amri Nadoi, Dekinami, I'll bring you a raya that's especially because it's his kids. The Ketoni, it says in the Brisa, that he gave it to his son or daughter that they underage. Chayev. If he gave it to his old daughter or old son, Potter. You'll be Potter because Aldas Bonavu Mafkid. Michlal, what do we see from here? If it wouldn't be his kids, it doesn't matter if they young, it doesn't matter if they're old, they'll be chayev, because Shoyim Shemos Al Shoyim chayev. Being Cain, if if it wouldn't be so, if the din would be even gdoilim acherim, you'll be potter, lisnik tanim stoma, it should say they gave it a cotton stam. Why does it say bnoi bitoy? Elomai, dafka bnoi bitoy aktanim you chayev, but bnoi bitoy gdoilim you potter, but adam acher godel, you'll be chayev. Shmamino, so we have a raya. So not only we don't have a kash on Rabbi Yochanan from this brayso, so we even have a raya to Rabbi Yochanan that Shem L'Shemosa L'Shem Chayev, and the whole reason why over here it says that you chayev when it's ktanim because it's bnoi bitoy. But if it would be gdoilim bnoi bitoy, you'll be potter. But anyone else who's no bnoi bitoy, even gdoilim, you'll be chayev because Shem L'Shemosa L'Shem is chayev. Omar Rova, Hilchasa v'alocha Shem L'Shemosa L'Shem Chayev. And it's simple in a way because the whole, we said in Amud Aleph that even Rab doesn't really argue. It was a mistake that they said that he argues. Not only if it was a Shem Esoch Chinom, Shimon, who gave it over to a Shem Chinom Levi, that he made the Shmir worse. What's the reason? My time at the now this is a different time. And Amud Aleph, Abaye said the reason is because ein return shep don't be adacher. Over here the reason is the Omale at me'emtli b'shvo, ahaich loy me'emtli b'shvo. Because Reuven tells Shimon, you gave it over to Levi, now something happened, now Levi's chayav v'shvo. I don't know Levi, I don't trust Levi with v'shvo. You, I trust you with v'shvo, but Levi I don't trust with v'shvo. So it comes out that Shoyma shel Mosa l'Shoyma chayav, and we have two reasons. Abaye is because ein retzoni shepik don't be adacher, and Rava's time is because aich ne'eman b'shvo, at me'emtli b'shvo, aich loy me'emtli b'shvo. Says Tosfos, at me'emtli b'shvo, they were maschil. What's an afkamina between Abaye and Rava? Let's say Reuven gave something to Shimon, and Shimon gave it to Levi, and something happened by Levi, and Shimon saw himself what happened, and he could make a shvua. If we have Eidim that go nenas by Levi, Potter. Lefia Rava, that the whole reason is because I want you to make a shvua, not him. Yeah, I'm making you a shvua. We have Eidim, it's even better than a shvua. But Lefia Abaye, it's nothing to do with that. And therefore you're pusher and giving it over, and therefore you'll be chayev. Okay, said the Gemara weiter. Itma, we learned. Hoshabo, someone was a shoyma on an animal, and he was pusher, and he went out into the valley. And why is there a pshir? Because the wolves or the ganovim, the thieves, can take it, eat it, or take it. And none of that happened. And it died naturally. Abaye mishmei de Rabba Omar chayev, you'll be chayev. Rava mishmei de Rabba Omar potter. Rava says no, in the name of Rabba you're potter. Abaye mishmei de Rabba Omar chayev, and he goes very strong loshen. Kol daine deloy doin kaidina. Any dain doesn't paskin like this that you chayev in such a case. Lav dainehu, he's not dying. So later on Daf Membeis Amud Aleph, there's a machloikes. Someone gave money to someone to keep, and the guy went and put it in a barn. Now over there it's very guarded from the ganovim, because the ganovim never come there. But it's not guarded from a fire. A fire could get lit very easily, and the whole money will get burnt. So says Abaye, no only the man over. So the story was the guy put in the barn and it got stolen. So it's tchilose b'pshir for fire, and so for oines for ganovim, it's called oines because it's a shem chinom and he's part of a gneva aveda. So it says Abaye, no only the man over there tchilose b'pshir so for oines chayev, the chayev they'll be here also be chayev when this animal went into the valley and it died kedarko. Elo afilu leman doma potter, even if he's a man doma over there who holds your potter when he got stolen because legabi gneva you know poishea, hoche chayev over here he'll admit that you be chayev. My time, what's the reason? Damrina and hafla the agma kotla, the bad air of the valley killed this animal. So by going to the valley, it's also bad for the animal, nothing to do with the avim and the ganovim. Also the air could have killed it. So by you taking it to the valley, letting it to go to the valley, you caused it to die. And therefore, even if you might do matchelose pshia, the sofer boin is pot over here, you'll be chayev because machmas pshia It died. Rava Mishmei the Rabba Mapoto, and he says the same lotion like Abai. And it's interesting why over here Abai and Rava have this strong lotion about any dying doesn't pass like this. He's not dying. And he says Rava, Kol Daine de Loi Doin Kaitina, any dying doesn't pass like this, Lav Daine who's not considered dying, Loi Mi Boile Mando Man only Lifi Mando Matchil, also with Pshir Soifa Boinis Potter over there in the case of the money and the bond. So over here he'll be the potter. Elo Afilu Lemando, even Lifi the Mando Omar. Chayev over there, Hocha will be potter. Why? My timer, the Amrino, Malach Hamoves, Mali Hocha, Mali Hosom. This cow died naturally, and who killed it? Malach Hamoves. Malach Hamoves doesn't have a problem with fighting the person he needs to kill or the animal he has to kill. This animal was meant to die. If it would be in his house, he would kill him. If he would be in the valley, he kills him. So that I took it to the valley didn't cause any difference. Mashenkin over there when he took the money to the barn, at the end of the day the Ganovim came to the barn, even though the Ganovim normally don't come, but they did come. So by your Shir for the fire, at the end of the day there was an oinus that happened. Therefore they chayev, over here the Malach HaMoves would kill it wherever it is. Says the Gemara, Moide Abaye, the Odroli Bimora, if after he took it to the Agam, he took it back home, Umeisa, now it died, the potter. You won't say anymore, Avla Dagma Kotla, my time, what's the reason? The Hodrolo, he came back, and you can't blame the bad end, the valley to kill it, even after he took it home. Well, if it happened in the valley, you could say that's the reason it happened. But if it happened when it's still at home, you can't blame, after he came home, you can't blame it on that. Umoidi Rava, and even Rava who holds up, in this case a potter, that call Echad the Igne Vagam, if you went out to the Gam, and the Pshia happened because the Ganev stole this animal, Umeisa Kedar Kobe Ganev, and now it died naturally in the house of the Ganev, the Chayev. You will be chayev, and you don't say, "Oh, Malach Hamoves Mali Ochem Mali Osim, you'd kill it by me as well. So this animal is anyway going to die. I'm potter." No, my time, the Ishov Malach Hamoves. If the Malach Hamoves wouldn't kill this animal, where would it be? The base of the Ganev, the Ganva have a kaima. It would still be in the house of the Ganev, and it would be stolen from you. And therefore, even if it died at the end, because it got stolen from your pshir, you have to pay. Omale Abai Rova, Abai told Rova, the doctor, Omris Malach Hamoves Mali Hochel Mali Hosom, the Fio Shita, that by Nisa, you could say the Malach Hamoves doesn't have an address and he knows to find his animals or people to kill, and he'll kill them wherever they are. Ahaido Oisve, Rav Abba Bar Mamel Rav Ami. You remember on Amud Aleph, Rav Abba Bar Mamel asked the Kasha on Rav Ami, and he said, if Shoima Shemosa LeShoima is chayev, what's pshat in the Mishnah that it says that Reuven was master to Shimon, and Shimon lent it to Levi, and we say that Levi has to pay Shimon. We said, oh, Shoima Shemosa LeShoima, you should be chayev Shimon. And the teretz that he came up with was that it's talking about Reuven gave Shimon Rishus to lend it out. La'ashil, to lend it out. Why did we need to come on to that? It's a different teretz. Malach Hamoves, Mali Hocha, Mali Hosa. You know why in the Mishnah your potter? What happened in the Mishnah? Reuven rented it to Shimon, and Shimon lent it to Levi, and it died naturally by Levi. So Shimon could say, yeah, Shimon Chayev, but the Malach Hamoves killed it, and Malach Hamoves would also kill it by me, and therefore I should be potter. So Luchar, it's a kash on Rava. Omale, for Rava told Abai, Ledi Daichu, Tior Shita and Rabbi Yochanan, the Masnisu that you learn that the time of Shema Shemos al Shema is Ein Retzoini Sheepik Doini Biadacher. The Reuven could tell Shimon, I don't want this deposit or this schirus to go to anyone else. Ekelus v'la'ahai. So then he could ask Kasha from the Mishnah by us, why Shimon no chayev? Because it's Shema Shemos al Shema. Ledidi, but to me, Rava, the Amina, the I say Pshat and Rabbi Yochanan, and Me'ementli b'shvur, that the whole time of Reuven to Shimon is, I trust you, Shimon, with a shvur. V'ahaich Levi, Loi mehemen li b'shvua, I don't trust him with a shvua, leikelois veklal. You can't ask this kasha whatsoever, because what does it say in the Mishnah? It says in the Mishnah clearly, Lamed Heomud Beis, Asoicha por mechaveroi, v'ishilu lacha meisa kedarko, yishova asoicha shemeisa kedarko. So it's talking about whether Soicha knows that it's meisa kedarko. So Reuben can't tell him, oh, I don't trust him for shvua. You don't need to trust him for shvua. Me, the Soicha, is making the shvua. So there's no time of shoyma shemosa v'shoyma. So the kasha is a non-starter. So don't ask me why did he not answer malach hamovis mali hochem mali osam. Lefi me, the kasha is a non-starter b'chlal. Leave me alone. Mosiv Romi Bar Choma has a kasha on this. It says, if the shepherd Elo Leroy Shitzukim, he took at the top of the mountain where there's a cliff, Benoflo, and it fell down. Ain't the oinus, it's not considered the oinus, Bechayev, and you have to pay. Homesa Kedarko, oh, if it died naturally by the cliff. Aryeh the oinus upotter, it's oinus upotter. V'amai, abai, lefi abai, it's a kasha. V'amai leimele avir darakoklo. The air of the mountain killed it, and therefore you're lost to take it up to fall off the cliff. And now it's not even oinus because the air of the mountain killed it. Inami, a different reason why it died. Uftzina darakoklo, climbing up the mountain, a lot of stress on the animal. It killed this animal. So why don't we say should be chayiv also meisa kedarko? Says the Gemara, it's talking about they didn't take it to the top of the mountain to a cliff. He took it there to eat good grass, lemire shomen, fat and good. That means it wasn't randomly took him up. They took it for a good reason, and he's allowed to take it up for a good reason. Says the Gemara, if he's allowed to take it to gaze in good grass, so why am I chayav if he fell down? It's normal to take it over there. All the shepherds take the animals up the mountain. Says the Gemara, very good, you take it up to the top of the mountain and you're allowed to, but when you go up there, you have to be hold the animal strong, that shouldn't fall down. If you were not holding strong and it fell, it's your fault and you chayav. Said the Gemara, if that's the case, let's look at this ratio of the Brisa. It says, also Roshi Tzukim, he went to the top of a cliff, Vinoflo, and he fell down. He didn't take it up, he went up by itself. Aryeh oinus, it's considered oinus and potter. If the whole time is he should have held it, that shouldn't go up or shouldn't fall down. He should have held it, that shouldn't go up the mountain. So the you should be chayiv. So the Gemara, it's talking about where he tried holding it, but it forced him. And he went up, and he couldn't stop it, and it forced him, and he fell down. And therefore you're potter, because you tried your best. Mashenke, when you took it to the top and it fell down, you're not holding it properly, and that's why you're chayev. Today is Rosh Chodesh Nisan. B'Nisan nigalu, b'Nisan asidim ligoel. Let's pray and hope of all the Torahs that we're in, each person separately and Klal Yisrael as a whole, and all the hostages, that we should have a big geula. B'meira b'yameinu amen.